I fucking lost it. I lost it.
Your life shouldn't be focused around
your life shouldn't be focused around work.
No, I actually think that's really important. And, for a while as well, even speaking from my experience, a majority of it was focused on work, how I can make money, et cetera, et cetera. And when you get stuck into that, you can't really focus on everything else that's going on around you, family.
You just don't have the energy to work on anything else because you're so focused on something that I think is like unnecessary to a certain degree. Like it is necessary to like make money and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But like to put so much of your energy into work and then zero energy into your life, your family, your friends, I think that's like very detrimental.
Hey everyone. Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of the Chillcast. Thank you so much for everyone who's watched the videos. The first 2 have been really awesome and the feedback's been great. So again, thank you for all of that. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, it does really help. But yeah, I've got 2 good friends that I've brought on here, and as you can see, it's not been a great start, so hopefully it gets a little bit better. But yeah, I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a really fun one here, and a bit controversial, hopefully. So I've got here Ashmit. So a little bit about Ashmit. I actually met Ashmit while I was going to high school at Suzanne Corey. It's been a bit up and down, but to say the least. But no, I'm joking. It's been really good. I think he's a very insightful person, and he's got a lot of conspiracy theories. So I think we'll probably get into some of those. So yeah, and he's actually currently doing medicine at Deakin, so on a good track, and part-time shoe seller soon as well. So yeah, and also got Luckshan. Yeah, he's doing a lot of stuff at the moment. He can't be normal apparently for a second. Yeah, obviously going to uni at Monash at the moment for his degree, and also working with a really cool company, which we might touch on as well. So,
sick.
Yeah, how are you guys going?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I've been all right, just chilling.
Oh my God, okay. I think they're a bit nervous, but
it's a different environment. Not used to the dark.
Dark.
I don't know which camera to look at.
You look at the main one.
I look at the main one.
The main
I don't know which camera to look at either.
Okay. You looked at first. You looked at first. Okay. So tell us a little bit about, obviously what you're doing at the moment and how's life?
Me first?
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Like as Kavien said, I've known him for like 19 years now. I just finished my undergrad of Bachelor of Science at Melbourne Uni.
Good job.
Yeah.
He's so nervous for him.
You only fucking finished his undergrad, bro. Yeah, I'm like congratulating you as you're going.
Now I'm doing the first year in med. That's going pretty well so far. It's like 8-9 months in. Been pretty cruisy. Just trying to live it up. It's a pretty surreal experience, I guess. Finally like trying to get into medicine for so long and like finally achieving it. But now that I'm in, it's just like, you do what you do.
Oh,
that's me.
Okay. You do what you do.
It's grinding. It's grinding.
And we've also got Luckshan here.
Yes.
Hopefully you can give him a better introduction to himself. So tell us what you've been up to lately.
In terms of what I've been up to lately, it's more just like working with this really cool company that I got a gig for. So pretty much what I'm doing is just like business development, strategy development for a marketing company. It's been really fun. Like it's a cool environment. Boss is great. Colleagues are great. Yeah, good experiences. And
100%. And I think we'll probably touch on it in a bit later as well, but sounds like the culture in that is really cool. As you said, Boss is great.
Yeah.
I think a common theme we've sort of had throughout the podcast is, culture and community, and sort of what I'm trying to build throughout the podcast as well. So I think we might touch on that in a bit as well. But let's actually let's just touch on it now. Why am I saying later? What's the company's name again?
So it's called Viz Australia.
Viz Australia. And what do you guys do?
So pretty much we just do marketing for a lot of like either small businesses, big companies. Like right now I'm taking care of like the dental sector, which is like pretty much just doing dental marketing. And yeah, pretty much just trying to like grow everyone's like business, like just trying to help everyone, help communities grow, sort of thing. Yeah, it's just really fun when it comes to like culture, because what I really liked, especially during my interview, was my boss said like, don't think of him as a boss, think of him as like a fellow colleague, because everyone's on like the same level of playing field, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like that was enough for me to just know that this is the sort of company that I want to work for.
I think that's,
Oh, sorry. Also, how's it different from like your previous jobs? You know,
So the previous job,
the one you love so much. Before.
yeah. So like chemist, like
No, the
I don't remember that one.
Okay.
So, like,
that was funny answer.
so I was working for. I'm not saying it. I want to say chemist.
I don't know. You tell me, bro.
Probably not. I was say retail. I was working retail.
He was working for Chemist
Yeah, I
Warehouse.
was working for chemist house. It was like fun in terms of like the experiences with like that you learn about people and like customers, because they deal with like angry customers, sad customers, happy customers. So it's like good to like have a balance and experience a bit of everything. But in comparison, it's like I feel like I wasn't growing at chemist. I was just doing the same things over and over again every day, and it's not really like I just didn't enjoy going to work. Whereas now I love it. Like I love waking up in the morning to go to work, coming back. Like I was telling you as well, like going out after work is not an issue for me anymore. Like I have full energy, like as if I didn't go to work. So.
Yeah, and that's something I think I've seen as well recently, where you know you're not like a lot happier in your work, which is sort of flown through to your like life after work as well, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's really important, and
and that balance is like very important as well.
I think it's it's literally life, right? So it's very important, and to see that, it's actually been like a pleasure, because what you're doing at the moment, it seems like you're actually enjoying rather than just going to work and just doing what you're told. I think that's the big thing, right? You finally got some ownership over stuff.
Exactly, like the responsibility. It's like very big for me, at least. And I was telling my mate as well, it's like your life shouldn't be around. Your work has to be around your life, sort of thing. Like it shouldn't be like your work shouldn't be around. Wait, I was lost there. I fucking lost it. I lost it.
Your life shouldn't be focused around.
Yeah, your life shouldn't be focused around work.
No, I actually think that's really important, and for a while as well. Even speaking from my experience, a majority of it was focused on work. How I can make money, etc., etc. And when you get stuck into that, you can't really focus on everything else that's going on around you, family.
You just don't have the energy to work on anything else, because you're so focused on something that I think is like unnecessary to a certain degree. Like it is necessary to like make money and all that sort of thing. Yeah. But like to put so much of your energy into work and then zero energy into your life, your family, your friends, I think that's like very detrimental. Yeah.
For example, like what we're talking about would be like if someone's sort of working and then sleeping and then waking up again, sleeping. Yeah. It's like, especially working from home at the moment. It's a little bit harder, like a lot harder. It's easier to actually get stuck in that cycle. But
well, I have a question in terms of like I don't know if it will go on forever, but so like what would be like your sort of advice in terms of someone who's stuck in that mindset, and like how would they get out of it? Like obviously like find another job or something like that, but then how would you go about?
Do you mean like the mindset of like sticking to one job just because it's like safe and comfortable?
No, it's more like creating that balance, work-life balance. Yeah, how would you like suggest someone to go about that?
Yeah, it's a good question. For me, I've gone through it, right? Like I think everyone, especially while you're starting off work, you're out of uni, you're starting to work a little bit more. You're trying to find that balance, right? And I think I've gone through that and come to a little bit for myself. I think it's different for everyone, just to start off with.
Yeah, of course.
But for myself, I think you need to go through and figure out the importance of work and enjoy what you're doing. Easier said than done, right? Like I think there is enjoyment in everything you do. You just need to find it. That said, there might be specific jobs that you're more suitable for, right? And you can get into that. And recently, me as well. Like I've been like, I can do better than this job, right? Yeah. But it's important to have that, but also at the same time, you're not going to do well at your next job if you're not actually currently enjoying what you're doing, right? Yeah. Because it's...
Wait, what do you mean? You can't...
So if you think that changing your job will make work better, that's wrong. Because at least from my experience, that's what I've always said. I said, like, if I don't enjoy the environment for my last job, for example, say, and I change to a different job, there might be something else that comes up, right?
Yeah.
I'm almost saying that you sort of have to deal with that. There's going to be ups and downs to any job.
Yeah.
And, there might be a time when it's better to move to a next job.
Yep.
But at the same time, you need to realize that if you're not enjoying your job, you need to come down and, ask yourself why. Is it because you're not liking the environment? Then, it might be change of a scene or anything like that. It's not easy to move jobs, right? So you need to make do with what you have. So try enjoy the things you enjoy in your job a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that really, balances your work life out more. But then after, I think, which is the main part, right? Like, you might be tired from work. You might, be, having bad days, right?
Yeah.
For me personally, it was a lot to do with sleep.
Yeah.
So I was like, I would be trying to stay up a little bit later to play games or something like that, right?
Just to get that extra.
But then it would screw me up the next day.
Exactly.
Right?
And then you hate your job.
Your job more in the morning, right? So once you get into that routine where, you actually have a specific amount, you're getting a right amount of sleep.
Yeah.
And you actually have the same day every day, but now you can actually focus with full energy on what you're doing. So work becomes really fun. And then, instead of being tired and taking a nap after work, you suddenly, you can go out and take a ride on your bike, which is something I started doing.
Yeah, nice.
Get back home. I can play games, talk to my family. There's a lot of things you can do there, right? So I think for me, it really came down to sleep, where I was sort of saying, if my mentality at the start was, if I can fit as much as I can do in a day, and just sort of keep doing that, I'll have a more enjoyable life.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, the quality over quantity mattered, right? So sort of breaking my day down, doing what I enjoy, but having, the complete energy through sleep.
So it's just like the initial step, I guess, which is like sleep.
Yeah. And it comes with stages, right? I think for me, I realized personally that when my sleep got into a cycle, I didn't dread waking up for work. Right? Like, I'm up. I might as well work now, right? And then eventually that becomes, I'm up. Oh, cool. I'm going to work now. Right? And then from there it goes to, I'm finished work. I'm not tired anymore. And like, I actually had a good day, right? And I'm not saying it's going to be perfect every day. Like, the ups and downs will be still there. It's always there. But then the balance for that might be, I had a bad day. My family's going to make me feel better. Let me spend some time with my family. And you're not tired anymore, right? You're not tired, and you can actually really enjoy that time, and the next day is fresh.
I guess it's like taking on that momentum of like, you wake up, like refreshed, had a good night, like good night's sleep. Start off work with a good attitude, finish work off with a good attitude. And then you continue on.
I have a question. So you said you're going to fix your sleep and like that'll make the next day a bit better. So sometimes, like, say in my day, if I wake up really late, I don't really do anything or like achieve much in the day. I feel like I wasted my day. So I try and end up staying up later and later, try to like do something, get that sense of
you're trying to get that
fulfillment. Or I did something, and then I fall asleep knowing like, I didn't waste my whole day, but in reality, I kind of just wasted even more time. I wake up even later the next day. Because I work at a gym, so a lot of people come up to me and they're always like, I want to sign up for the gym membership, blah, blah, blah. But I don't have time, like either family, work, and all these other commitments. And it's always difficult to find like that balance between like, how can they go to work, take care of their kids, spend time on this, as well as come to that gym for like that hour to work out. So always like, by the time like someone goes home, it's much more difficult for them to go to the gym than if just come to the gym right after they go to work. Because once you go home, you're cozy, you're home. You want to go out. So it's that I'm asking more so like, do you think that everyone needs like one goal or like one task a day that they just need to succeed to make that fulfillment that they've like kind of done something?
It's a good question. So I wouldn't necessarily put it down to the one task. So I think, as I said before, there's enjoyment in everything you sort of do. For your example, right? The person's struggling to find time for gym, right? I think it can't.
I just looked at him. Sorry.
We're getting like this, like his eyes are tearing up, and I'm like, is everything good at home, man?
I have eye contact with him. I'm like, oh shit. Okay.
Yes. I was saying about gym, right? So, so to find that balance, so you need to find the reason, and it's actually from the last episode as well with Minnie. So you need to find the reason why you want to do what you're doing, right? And I think that's important. Where if you need to spend time with your family, be like, why? Of course, I think that's for everyone, it's a good thing. Be like, why? Okay, I need to spend some time doing this. And then, why do I need to go gym? Is it because I'm not healthy? Because, I need my family's not happy with how I look. There's different reasons, right? Like, and finding that importance is important because then you can actually sort of see, okay, this is what I need to do in a day.
Yeah.
For people, and this is for people who say, oh, I'm too busy to do this, I'm too busy to do that. A lot of people aren't too busy, they're just lazy.
Yeah.
But I think there are and people I know as well that are very, very busy.
Yeah.
But for them, I think my advice would be, realize why you're doing what you're doing and make your days more efficient if you are actually really busy, because then it makes everything you're doing, like, you have the reason for why you're doing it, so it will make it all the much easier to do it.
I don't like when people say they're busy and stuff. This is like a philosophy I've told Luckshan many times, where it's like, I always believe that you can always make time for everything in your life. Like, no matter what it is, like a person, a task, anything, you always have the time. Like, obviously, it's like certain circumstances you can't.
Yeah.
But like, you can always make time for something. You just have to figure out how you can do that. If you really want to, you'll find
You'll
it.
do it. Yeah.
No, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even like a lot of, some of my friends are like, oh, no, I have no time to hang out. I have no time to do
That's
this.
bullshit, bro.
Yeah,
That's cap, bro.
That's all for you. All you guys are cuffed from.
Bro, don't tell me at 5 p.m. you're fucking busy, bro, and you're fucking at home.
Literally, it's that, right? Like, they waste the first 2 hours in the day doing nothing.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, if they've thought it through and they're like, oh, like, I don't like Luckshan, I'm not going to hang out with him. Fair enough, fair play, That's fair play, yeah. But like, if it's just like, oh, I'm too busy, then realistically, just for your own happiness, you need to sort of figure out why you need to do what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The balance is like very important. And I'm so happy that I figured it out. So
yeah, I think you figured it out really well, and it's sort of showing.
I feel like in my first like 2 years of like undergrad, I had like a struggle really back. Like, really prioritize like my academic grades and everything. Try to get into med, obviously. Yeah. And like, I found during that time, I was always like quite introverted. Like, I always like cut off plans with like a lot of people because I'd like study for my next test or whatever. And later on, I was like, I don't want to keep doing this because like I'm gonna have to keep studying for the rest of my life. I don't want to like always cut off my plans with my friends and things like that. It's not fun, So I like decided like, you know what, I'll still try study. I'll do what I'm doing, but like add a little bit more and more of what I want to do. And then like, I'll be like, someone says like, let's do something. I'll be like, yeah, fuck it. Let's just go, man. Let's go on a road trip. Let's go where the hell we want to go,
Yeah.
And I found that over time, like as I kept doing that, I found out I could like slowly balance my time with studying as well as going out and doing what I want. And I found like there was no conflict between that anymore. Yeah. And like I could like develop and like do what I want, like, work here, go on a road trip. If it's like 3 a.m. at night, like just go out, like, because I've already done my academic stuff, like the things I need to do, I've already done that, accomplished it.
Yeah, I think that.
But now you don't. So you don't. Bro, you go every day. Hey, bro. That was like zero study. I just go.
Hey, like I said before, when you're in. I'm done.
No, you take your end advice like 2 literally. You're like, oh yeah, no, I'm a hard worker.
I told you you're in.
I went to 2 hours of class. I'm gonna go out tonight.
You didn't go to class, bro.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
No, I think actually you're a good example of that, because I've sort of seen that process where, especially like we play a lot of games together, right? I think it's like the main time we hang out. There are times where, you say, oh, look, I'm working, I need to work. Yeah. So you're dedicating your time to that instead of being like, oh, yeah, let's play one game now and then I'll do my work later. You finish your work and then you're like, oh, okay, I've got this time to play games. And I think that's what sort of I'm trying to emphasize as well, like figure out what you need to do and why you need to do it. Because, for example, for you studying, you need to do that to get your degree. Right now, that's your priority. And you want to play games to have fun. And you figured out, oh, okay, now I've got some spare time. Let's play some games.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it's like time management. There's a lot. And I think everyone's is different. Like yours is different to mine.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, it's a process, right? You have to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah,
we should have actually gone through this earlier, but a bit about how you guys met each other, because it's a pretty funny story. Who wants to go through it? I think you're probably the best to start off.
I think he should start it, and then I'll add in.
Okay.
So for you guys don't know, me and Luckshan, we've been friends, like proper friends, for like say a year.
Less than 2 years. Yeah.
Less than 2 years. Yeah. We met each other like about, I'd say 3 years ago at like a house party with like one of my close mates. And like all of us were invited as well. Yeah. I don't know this guy, but like Kavien's a good mate of mine. Kavien it's a good mate of Luckshan, right? So me at this party, and like at this party, I was like they introduced me like, hey, I'm Luckshan. I'm like, oh, hey, man, Ashmit, I don't know this guy, but it's like he was alright, I guess, whatever. But at this party, the main idea of why I hated this man is because there was this like girl that I really liked at the party, and like I was a bit of a, I'd say, for lack of better words, bitch back then. Right? So I didn't want to make a move. I was very nervous, things like that. And like at this party, like I was friends with everyone there, like 20, 30 people, like everyone knew me. Everyone was like on my side trying to back me up, wingman me, right? When I was too nervous to do anything. So at the party, I was acting very abnormal to how I normally would act with my mates. Like I'd avoid this person, I wouldn't talk to them. If I did talk to them, it was kind of a trash conversation. Not gonna lie. And everyone was hyping me up. Everyone's like, yeah, Ashmit, you got this. And this party went on for like, because we all slept over. It went on for like, from like morning, like afternoon, I'd say, to like the next day, right? And for the first like 4 hours, everyone's on my side, like backing me up. And then all of a sudden, like, slowly everyone's like trying to like turn a little bit. They're like, you're a bit of a bitch now, bro, not gonna lie. Like, come on, do something. But everyone's my friend. So I'm like, you're kind of right. Like, I'll try. But this guy's not my friend. And this guy's like the one that's fucking pushing it the most. He's like roasting the fuck out of me. And the thing is, when you like someone and you get publicly roasted, like you don't want to approach them, but you're getting like abused. Like you're on the bottom of the fucking hierarchy, Like no one's gonna go after you, So I was like, fuck, man, this random cunt's roasting me. I don't know who he is. He's fucking got a beard and shit. Like, fuck. I don't have no beard.
And to be fair, so I was like one of the main people roasting him. And honestly, I was trying the whole night, my best efforts to get this man in, but he just wouldn't do it. And then at a point, I probably came over to this guy. I'm like, shit, this guy's a bitch, man. And everyone was trying so hard. It was just like a crazy time as well.
And let me give my perspective.
Yeah.
This is my perspective. All I saw, so I came in like very late. This is like after the 4 hours that he was referring to. And all I see is a guy who was not able to talk. He was unable to get words out of his mouth. He was drinking alcohol, completely fine, but he was unable to fucking speak. And then every time there was like an amazing opportunity for him to go up and was like communicate. Like he didn't have to do anything. Like I wasn't expecting him to like
that's the thing. No one was like pushing him.
There's also like 30 people watching you, man. Everyone's watching you.
Everyone was watching him.
I think it was everyone's like, Ashmit, go up, and they're all like,
like everyone was trying to help. I guess I see both sides of it.
At least from my side.
I don't give a damn. I don't know you.
I don't give a fuck. Bro, all I'm trying to do is make you talk.
Bro, this guy, no. I have a specific memory. We're playing Mafia. There's like 20 of us sitting. The party's died down. Everyone's like tipsy sitting there. This guy, like, just publicly, the girl's next to me, publicly roasting me like, you're a fucking bitch, bro. It's very obvious I like the girl now. Like, she knows. Like, you're a bitch, bro. You wouldn't make a move. Like, fuck off, bro. You're not playing with us. And I'm just there. Like, everyone's like, jumped in the roast. Like, I'm literally, it's like a fucking public roast I didn't sign up for. Like, I rushed up to this, bro. And I did not know this man. Like, he's not my friend. I don't know him. He's a fucking stranger. And I hated this man so fucking much. It's fucking
fair enough. I say respect.
Like, another funny thing that happened that night as well was, so the person's birthday party who it was, so the girl who was hosting the birthday party had a boyfriend who's really close to us and also to him as well, so to all of us actually. And he actually wrote a speech and he was ready to like to say the speech, right? But he was a bit nervous. So
and mistakes were made.
So after like about like 2 hours of us roasting him and like trying to get him in, our mate comes up to me and Luckshan and they're like, like I really want to give this speech, but I'm like a little bit nervous. So we have like an intervention in the middle of the party.
The three of us. Fucking triangle brainstorm.
Brainstorm. We're like, dude, if you don't regret this, if you don't do this, you're gonna regret it. So your girlfriend's 21st, right? You got to do this. Be serious about it. And then he's like, oh yeah, that's fair. Just like, dude, I don't speak in front of people. We're having like a deep conversation about this, right? And at the end, it's like, fuck it, I'm gonna do this. Like I'm gonna
skull the bottle back. Let's do it. Let's go. Gather everyone.
He's like, we're like, let's go. Like we're like hype men, right? Like we like catch onto this train and we're like, let's go. And we're gonna hype everyone up, right? So we're bringing everyone in. And we're like, oh, speeches. Everyone coming, and everyone's like getting a bit hyped. Like everyone's like, all right, here we go, right?
Like we're like, I'm pretty sure we're like, when people like, oh, yo, he's about to do the speech.
Yeah, he's about to do the speech, right? Like, the man. And we go up to Ashmit, who's also like a big, like good friend of him. He's like. I'm like, oh, Ashmit, come, Niall's about to do the speech.
He said name, bro. Said name.
Oh, yeah, Niall's fine.
Niall's good.
Anxiety, bitch.
Hey, that's all.
And we're like, oh, yeah, come, Niall's about to do a speech. And this man's like, bro.
I'm drunk.
He's really drunk. He's very drunk at this point. He's like, bro, Niall's got anxiety, man. He doesn't want to do the speech. Don't force him to do the speech, bro. And we're just like, we look at each other and start laughing. We're just like dying, right? And he's just like serious. He's like about to cry almost. The red face. One hand with a spider in his hand. I was like, bro, dude, you don't have to force him, man. He doesn't want to do it. Don't do it. Bro, I'm gonna go talk to Nalan right now. We're like, go talk to Nalan. And we talked to him, bro. And this man was like yelling at the top of his voice in the middle of the party. I think that's why he got roasted a bit more as well that day.
And then I just had to roast him for the rest
To
of the
be
night.
fair, there's a classic example of miscommunication because no one told me like before, like half an hour before these guys talked to him that he didn't want to do it because he was nervous. And then they talked to him.
First of all, you were drunk. You were not capable of making that decision.
Take it out.
That one was
Anyway.
But to be fair, I do see your point in like everyone was watching you, so that conversation would have been really good. Yeah, I did see that on the night as well.
Like he made sense for a bit.
Yeah, it did. No,
we were just dickheads.
yeah, we were dickheads. So there was us being dickheads, so we established that.
Wait.
It was you being a bitch.
No, never mind.
No, what was yours?
No, that's it.
I was going to say, we ended up going on a date, but then it didn't work out.
I remember when he high-fived.
Wait, no. No, boys. Bro, this is like 3 years or 4 years. I'm a changed man now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Honestly, you guys look like dicks. Like,
Moral of the story, my mate's bullying me.
Wait, we established we're the dicks.
Moral of the story, you were dicks, you were a bitch, you accepted.
And then how did that change? What was that moment where you guys fell in love?
We're drunk 2 months later. Pissed drunk. More drunk at being on a mate's birthday.
Yeah.
And I was sad about the same girl.
He was sad because like the girl didn't want to.
And I'm like, yo, bro, I don't like you. And he's like, dude, I understand, man.
I told him what to do.
I don't
And
know.
the thing is, we don't know what we talked about. We just said something.
I don't remember the life advice he gave me, but
And
he
then we hugged, and then bro, we
This makes sense, bro.
They buried the hatch.
Alright, moving on.
Yeah, moving
On to something more relatable.
All right, Ashmit and his World War III theories.
Oh, let's go. I'm actually very interested in this.
Yeah,
Wait, I shoot this. I agree.
Oh, sure.
Because I agree.
You want to come inside and take my bag?
Have a quick cameo.
What?
Cameo. So we're gonna go into some conspiracy theories now. So
We're back.
we couldn't not have Shanaka on for the conspiracy. So he's back. So run us through your conspiracy theory. Ashmit's got a theory about World War III.
So I have multiple plausible theories. I do.
Self-proclaimed.
Self-proclaimed.
I fully agree.
World War III.
I don't even know what theory you respect.
Yeah, wait for
I go down
Wait for it to say.
I go down very big rabbit holes of like wars and economics and things like that on YouTube and like articles which have no like other aspect to my life except conspiracy theories. But anyways, so my theory is, so China, this is one of my theories. This is a more plausible one.
He's definitely on board here. Whatever you're about to say, he's definitely
So
on board.
China, right? They're a very big, like organization, very rich. But what's happening now in China is like the productive cost of building things is too expensive. So what they've done is something called the $1 billion belt, right? Where they're giving money off to all these like poor ass countries, like in Africa and Middle East, stuff like that, and building like ports and infrastructure to build this economic belt of like shipping and things like that. All right. So they're developing these poor countries, but the thing is, when they're doing this, the poor countries can't actually pay back China for the development costs they're providing. So then the countries go in debt and they just give off the land for like a certain amount of years or whatever. Like in a kind of similar situation to like Hong Kong and Britain, like England and stuff, where they gave that land like for a brief period of time, right? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening. China's slowly dominating these countries. And now, this is where my theory comes in, right? So China's building allies with these countries, like all around, blah, blah, blah. Even like, for example, right now, the Taliban, they're trying to like have some sort of negotiations with them to try, like, do something with them as well. Anyways, so they're making like these allies with these countries, poor countries, blah, blah, blah. And now the US and Middle East, we all know they've had a bad history in the past, especially with the current circumstances, right?
None of us do that.
Well, some of the countries in the Middle East and some of them in America have had the stuff there.
Yeah, okay, we'll take it.
Anyways, so I reckon, and China and like America, bro, these guys butt heads. Because one's capitalist country, one's communist country, so their internal values don't align anyways.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I reckon the anger that everyone has against America and stuff is gonna like bottle up, and then China's gonna back him, and then like there's gonna be like a massive. I don't think like a full-on blown out like nuclear war or anything like that. More like a economic war where like countries get cut off like trade routes and things like that, and then like they kind of like appreciate, and then maybe like people like, yo, I ain't taking this shit and bomb someone.
So you think World War Three? So you think World War Three is a economical war?
I think it'll be economical or a cyber war, one of the two.
And US versus China
And Middle East.
and Middle East.
That's
Middle East are like the big boys, like the oil men.
Yeah. The Middle East is like popping, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll stop supplying all the smacking oil to
There is some dodgy stuff going on in China.
Well, Shanaka thing.
I feel like we might be watched after this.
Dude, I'm already on too many lists.
Dude, I'm so down for like taking my data, bro. I get target ads. I'm a prime suspect for target ads, bro. They show me something, I'm like, fuck it, I kind of need this in my life now. We're buying shoes non-stop, bro. I don't need shoes. Bro, I don't even want these shoes, man. I had like 5 pairs I just bought. I don't wear them.
All right, do you back that theory?
Possibly. I think when I think of World War III, I don't think of it as between nations. I think of it as like, and I think it's already started. It's like a war in our mind.
Okay.
And I think it's like an ideological war where the most important thing is control of people's minds and being able to push ideological agendas and use it for division. And I think
how
where
like
it started.
kind of China does that, where like with all the surveillance and shit they're doing, because they've like apparently I watched a video the other day. There's like 4 cameras per person or something like that, something crazy.
Okay.
Like heaps, like they surveil everything, and they've done like things in certain cities where basically they like are they trialing it where they give people a score depending on like what they do. So if they like say anything bad against the government or like publicize like a bad media or like do like a bad deed or something like that, they lose points. And depending if you lose points, you lose like certain benefits in society, or you can gain points by like doing good things for like the government. And obviously like the government chooses what's good, what's best for them. So if you're opposing them, you lose points. So they're kind of like making your mind go a certain way, I guess, to adapt to like what they want,
Yeah, I think those two theories do go hand in hand because like China, like that's something that I heard about China. That's sweet. And does that actually exist though?
Yeah, it's legit.
Legit thing?
Yeah, probably.
That's kind of crazy.
I mean, we don't even have to look at China. It's just like, I think more and more what's becoming clear is we are losing freedom of choice in so many areas of our life. And in a way, that's like, there's like, I don't want to go too deep into conspiracies, but it's like that is like a war on people's mind, right? And that's like the last right people have.
Is that more like from like a government imposed sort of thing? Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't even know. It's like,
So who would like is like by war? Do you mean it's a war against ourselves, or would you say?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it is. It's like,
I believe that when when all like countries like together can unite in like one kind of like its flag in a sense, that's when like proper like evolution, like progress will happen. Like it will speed up like exponentially because we're like under one belt. There's no more like conflict and stuff like that. But I also believe conflict like sparks a lot of like innovation, research, and things like that. Because if you like look at example like World War II and stuff, a lot of the things they did for like military whatever is also used for like everyday stuff, like your cars, your food rations, things like that.
Yeah.
So it's like
It's actually a really interesting idea. Like everyone going under one flag.
Yeah. I watched this video of like
yeah, I think that.
the block for I watch randomized videos. But this video of like it was like kind of like a thought of like why haven't we reached a state where we're like a race or species where we can conquer other planets, right? And like one of the theories was like the block of that is we're all so divided. We're still like conflicting between land within our own space that we like can't fathom the idea or progress enough to go to like lands in other areas. And
But you know what I think about that? It's like that's almost a good thing because that inability to live harmoniously with everyone on the planet has led to so much diversity in different races, different cultures, different ways of living. And we've discovered more about what humankind is through living in division. Right? So we almost have to like... No, so if there was no division, we just would have interbred like 10,000 years ago, right? We wouldn't have Chinese people or Indian people or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And there would be no appreciation for the diversity of all the different countries and cultures that we have at the moment in the world.
That's true.
So it's like because of that fear of someone who's different, we've actually learned to create so much diversity.
Yeah.
And I think at some point we'll come back, but
Yeah, I guess it comes down to like your priorities. So, like in your case, like if it's like conquering other planets is your priority, then obviously like a non-diverse sort of world would have been like good to have. But then in your case,
I don't think it's about conquering. It's about expanding it's expanding humanity beyond just this planet. But to do that, we had to first fully diversify across this planet.
Yeah,
and then I think we'll take that next evolutionary step. I think we're going to go there, but we first have to like learn to manage this planet.
That's true. Which is apparently so
on this planet.
freaking hard to do.
I was like a question, because you know how you're saying like everyone has that freedom of choice, like you talked about before. But is there like a point where you should limit someone's freedom of choice? For example, like for last year, like all the COVID situations, like everyone that protests against and things like that, like COVID is a situation where I guess it's a prime example where a very small minority could ruin it for everyone, especially in Australia where they're in lockdown, you know?
Yeah.
Like literally like a group of 50 people could just ruin it and like go on lockdown like that. Do you think in like those circumstances, you have that freedom of choice? Like, should you be able to like just go out and do what you want, like protest, blah, 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 and then like the government will come and be like lockdown, but like lockdown's not going to end if you're going to protest. Like, it's still going to happen because like at the end of the day, because well, I guess like maybe what people like don't understand is the people maybe that protest don't really get like this is completely speculative, but like the damage does to the healthcare system, like the infrastructure we have can't really support that many patients. Because what happens, like you have one COVID patient, they may go to hospital, they have a COVID ward, but that means because that one COVID patient in that hospital, in that ward, that whole ward cannot have a single other patient that doesn't have COVID. So those other patients that say have heart conditions, like diabetes or surgery, have to go somewhere else. And there may not be enough beds for the people there as well. So that's like the damage it does. It's not about like the beds and space, but it's more like that one person, like a few people could use that whole like hospital kind of area. That's what I'm saying. People don't get that. Like they're like, oh.
Yeah, that's actually something I do.
Yeah.
But I think the counter to that is that if you take away someone's right to protest and their right to free speech, it's like a dangerous rabbit hole, I think, because it's like the only way we can work together to do the right thing is by encouraging different perspectives to discover what the right thing is, right? Yeah. And it's like if you say, oh, because I have a position that you don't agree with, you don't want to hear it, then we'll never discover if your position is correct.
Yeah, that's facts.
Right? And it's like, I think that's why the most important right is just the freedom of speech or just freedom of choice.
Yeah.
I find that like,
I think education is a better way of like.
No, I agree with you. But then like I hear people like they're like, oh, I got a WhatsApp message that like, you know, COVID-19 is like not even that bad for you, blah blah blah. This random guy told me on like some like WhatsApp message, and you're like, okay, so this guy really be making the decisions about like the healthcare system, like, you know.
But if like the intention is to create false information, then it's not really kind of like it kind of just like goes away. Like so like in terms of like lockdown protests, it's kind of like people like saying, oh, like we want freedom, right? Whereas a WhatsApp message is kind of just like, oh, it's false information. Like here's a question like for you guys, like do you guys believe the lockdown protests are okay? It's fine to do?
I think it's okay.
Oh, fuck. I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's a bit of both. It's like I understand exactly where they're coming from, and I really get it. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like look, why? Like if you just waited like an extra because they always do it like not straight away when lockdown happens. They do it like 2 weeks in. They do it at the beginning, man. You know,
it usually happens like at the beginning. Yeah. It's like the day before the lockdown, and then like
just about as we're gonna end.
Yeah, no, it's like the day of like extension, like before they extended, because like that was the actual day it's meant to.
It's like.
Wait, so why do you believe it's fine?
I think it's like for me, it's a bit of empathy. It's like we don't know what these people are going through, and it's easy for me to sit on my high horse and say, "Oh, like it's no big deal, right? Like lockdown, you know." Yeah. But I am not in a position where I'm struggling to survive. I'm struggling to put food on the table. I've got to take care of kids. I've lost my job. My business has been crushed. Like there are real problems that people are dealing with. And I do think there's not enough awareness or recognition for some of these issues, right? Whether it's like the colossal damage that businesses are going through and small businesses are suffering, loss of employment, mental health issues. Like there are huge issues that you could say are being under prioritized because there's a very big issue that's here that affects everyone. But it's like if you were going through something like that, you need to and you feel like that's the way of bringing awareness to those things.
Yeah,
you
that's
gotta
a
do
good
what you
point.
gotta do.
Yeah, because I saw, I think yesterday, on like one of the articles that I read, it was like, so someone called the ABC, like the radio, and then he was like, "Can you guys please stop saying that we're in this together? Because I'm living in my car right now because COVID took my home away from me." And he was just saying like, like what he was trying to say was like, you guys have no right to say that, oh, like it's going to be fine. Like we're all in this together. Just like go through the lockdown together, sort of thing. Because which is right. It was true. Like we have no idea what he feels like.
No, that's fair.
Like he lost his home because like he couldn't pay his mortgage or something like that. He didn't get the support. And like I'm not trying to say like this is the exact story because there's obviously two sides to every situation. But which was like, it was pretty like interesting the way.
That's why it's a hard topic because I feel like everyone really understands like why you're protesting. Like not to the extent like like the emotion, like whatever's happening in your own life, but like the frustration, I guess, and everything.
Kind of like it makes sense.
Yeah.
But like I don't know.
I know it's one of those like kind of ones. But
I think we just have to like treat people better, regardless. And I think if everyone can just do that, we'll get through this. Right. And, if we can be more empathetic, more compassionate, help each other out more, it's an idealistic thing. But it's like, instead of like polarizing ourselves and saying, you guys are bad, we're good, everyone's going through this together. And it's like, somehow we've got to work it out. Right.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a bad group over there that's doing the wrong thing. It's because of them that we're here.
I wouldn't say anyone's doing anything bad or anything like that. Like if someone protests like and they have COVID and they went out, it's like, I get you, bro. Like, honestly, like, I'm not mad, but I'm just frustrated.
Yeah, and that's fair enough, man.
Yeah.
It's just finding that balance that's important, right? At the end of the day, like, I think with everything, there's always going to be like one side and the other side, right? And that's what's going to happen when two different people meet. But again, it comes down to like sort of figuring it out together. And I think I was more on the side of, and I think we've had this discussion in depth. I was more on the side of like, screw the people that are going to the protests, right? Like they don't care about us. But I see the other side as well now where I'm just like you guys just discussed, right? They're going through stuff and you could argue that that's worse than what the impact of COVID without a lockdown would be, right? You could argue that. We don't know. It's theoretical, which is why I think that balance is important of opinions where
I think to everyone, it's like they are dealing with the issues that's affecting them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So for us right now, the biggest issue is maybe COVID because we can't go out. But for someone else, their biggest issue is literally they have no money. So that's their issue, not COVID. Yeah. So everyone's got their own issue and it's just the one that affects them the most.
Yeah.
Everyone will tap out.
That's a good one.
Thanks for the quick cameo.
It's an interesting topic.
Yeah, it's like a topic.
It's interesting because it's so fresh.
Yeah, it's very relevant.
I think the next topic is going to become like who is right and who is wrong in terms of taking the vaccine. It's probably the next.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with that.
That'll be interesting to see like in 6 to 12 months time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you don't get a vaccine and like you're trying to go somewhere, it kind like people will look at you kind of weird. I feel like it's gonna happen.
Yeah. No, I
got looked at weird when I was like one of the first people to get the vaccine. I was in the
exactly right.
2%. Flex.
Yeah.
Of Australia, when I was fully vaccinated with Pfizer, everyone was like, "Oh, you're gonna give her a third arm, bro."
Exactly. And now it's like shifted, right?
Yeah, now it's like Pfizer, bro. You're so cool.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Yeah.
You're not like 3-4 months. Like, what happened?
I think everything.
I think it was less than 3-4 months.
I don't even know. I got vaccinated ages ago.
Yeah.
Really, I didn't realize people were. I know people are anti-vaccine, and obviously because I think the reason behind it, to my knowledge, right, is that these haven't gone through like the biggest clinical tests over a long period of time, right?
That's like, But the thing, like, I agree and everything like that, but like my thing with that is like, if you're happy with the current circumstances of everything how it is, you don't care at all, you just like literally don't care, and you don't want to get vaccinated either, okay, full props to you, like good on you. Yeah. But if you really want to get out of lockdown, you want to experience everything like you had before, and you don't want to get vaccinated at the same time, knowing that vaccination is like probably like the only way we really get out realistically. Yeah. It's like it's kind of a contradiction of what you're saying. You know? Because you want something, but then like you have the way to get it, and it's like free. If I like, do it.
I think for me, it's like comes down to like people don't like getting told what to do. Yeah. Right. Like, and that's the main thing. And to an extent, I can understand, but then also to the other side, I can be like, okay, then suck it up, right?
Yeah. So it's that, and it kind of makes sense. Like, even though you want freedom and shit, like, and that the only way to get it is through the vaccine. Kind of makes sense to also not get it because like it's just like it's so new and like the media is kind of like the media loves to destroy any vaccine that comes out, like especially like AstraZeneca. Like the media is fucking destroyed
That-
that vaccine.
I mean,
Like,
it's interesting.
all
'cause
the side effects and all that.
AstraZeneca's been out for like how long now? And like
Yeah, exactly.
now, like they've changed from 12 weeks to 6 weeks. Everyone's like AstraZeneca's available for everyone.
Yeah,
before
yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't available for everyone, only 50
Exactly.
plus.
But then like the media likes to change that to like how that's bad.
Yeah.
Where like it's progression. Like if you look at it from like
I guess from the media's perspective,
grand
it's like
thing.
whatever gets the most like views or like reads, you know. They're
it's
trying
always-
to like,
yeah.
100%.
I don't know, it's interesting. But let's not dive too deep into it. Okay.
veganism.
All right, let's get into veganism. We thought of a few just fun topics that might be very controversial, so I'm a bit scared. But whose was the vegan one?
Let me give a full disclaimer first.
Okay.
In no way do I mean to offend anyone. I'm not trying to insult anyone. It's more just like it's kind of like a topic that's been like in conversation for like the last 2 weeks. And so it's pretty much about, because like I've just been watching a lot of like vegan activist videos. Like I've seen like a lot of articles about like animals being tortured and shit like that. And it was, my mind was kind of like coming towards the idea behind like people who eat meat, can they really say that they care for animals? And yeah, that's right. Like, cause like I have 2 dogs and like I love my dogs, but then like I also eat meat. So it's kind of just like, oh, what, like where do I it's just like I feel like if I say
Eat dog.
what?
You
No,
eat
you
dog?
fuck it.
Bro, you're like, I eat meat, I had dogs. Like,
Yeah, I didn't do that.
How did you come to that conclusion?
Nah, it's like you eat like pig and cattle and stuff. You don't need like wasting dogs, bro.
I'm saying
He has dogs.
I love animals.
But
Like,
he
I
eats
think,
meat.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
this guy doesn't.
No. Wait, this guy.
This is the future.
This guy watched a documentary of pigs getting slaughtered and was eating fucking like a steak while watching it.
Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
that was really fucked up. That was like, this is like last year, right?
So take us down your thought process of, like,
Yeah, so the thought process is kind of just like, so it's kind of like I'm kind of like thinking from a vegan's perspective as well. Like, I just feel like it's kind of like insulting to say that I love animals, that like I do love my dogs, but then like for them to see that I'm also eating meat is just like, that's like so contradicting. I feel like, but I don't know, it's just being like in my mind sort of thing. Like, like do I really have a right to say I love animals sort of thing?
Yeah. And a quick disclaimer, everything we're going to say from this moment is in our opinion. I'm sure we might be wrong.
Yeah, this is not a preacher.
Yeah, we're not preaching.
It's not
So
advice.
it's a fun discussion. From my perspective, like, obviously I might be a bit biased because I do eat meat, right?
Yeah.
But to say that you don't love animals just because you eat meat, I feel like there's 2 parts of it, right? Like you enjoy your food while you're eating it, but you don't necessarily attach the thought of your dogs while you're eating that meat, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So isn't that different where, okay, like I love my dogs, that's a separate thing, but now I'm also eating meat because I like chicken. Like I like eating chicken.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because like each to their own, obviously, as well. But like, at what point then? And then I was like, all right. So then let me change the question, kind of, I guess.
Yeah.
And we'll come back to this, I guess.
Yeah.
So then, at what point do you think you would become? So like, what would take for you to become vegan if animal welfare isn't technically like animal welfare isn't your reason?
Yeah.
Isn't big enough for you to become vegan? Like even for all of us, right? Because we all eat meat. So then what would take for a meat eater to become vegan if we don't give a shit about animals dying?
Yeah.
Technically.
I feel like it comes down to like economics of like the taste, firstly, like of the product, like the alternatives, as well as like the price, because often vegan products are quite more expensive than like normal like just meat products.
Right. But all right. Like, yeah, I get it. Like vegan food can be like a bit more pricey compared to like meat. But like, is that good enough? Like from your...
It's fine to me. But like
for me, it's fine as well. Like, as in, I think for the main thing, I think I'd say if at KFC they changed all their burgers and the meat to veganism, like to vegan meat.
Yeah.
Everything was vegan and it tasted the same, cost the
they
same.
did that.
Sorry, if they did,
if
I
they
say
did.
hypothetically they
I was
did.
like, shit.
The convenience is there and it's everything the same. I'd definitely go to KFC.
Okay.
Right? Like I'd still go. Like just because KFC is vegan all of a sudden,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd stop. At least unless again, it's if everything's the same.
Yeah.
Right. But I think with a lot of like the vegan things I've tried, I've almost thrown up.
Yeah.
Right? And there's no offense to anyone. Maybe I just haven't had the good food.
Yeah.
But like it's just like I don't first of all enjoy the taste of it.
Yeah.
And then obviously the convenience factor as well is the big one as well. As well as macros, right? So like if I'm trying to gym trying to get like a specific amount of protein, it's a lot harder as a vegan rather than meat eater, right? So I think for me to switch over to being a vegan, it would be those things. So price, convenience, and macros pretty much. If they can reach the same level as just having chicken. And I know they're developing that somewhere, I'm pretty sure, right?
Probably.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I also feel like the whole like term of vegan is become like a kind of negative. Like, everyone's like a vegan or what? Like,
I don't know, just like interesting, like why like an animal dying is not a reason for us to become vegan. But like, but that
comes like that's like the biology, I guess, because like as people develop, you know, like you got like incisors and like your seek and like regress and things like that to make you be an omnivore, eat meat, things like that. Like carnivores eat meat, like you know, like the animals and like life eat meat. It's like why are we like now we're adding like that psychosocial kind of aspect where we're trying to like diverge from, I guess, like normal biology to like some other being. We're trying to like change our evolution, I guess, in a sense. We're not eating meat or by choice instead of like, I guess, biology. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Just my whole thoughts about like the whole like I guess the emotional aspect about why that's not enough for like why as if like and it's like I still eat meat. I still feel sad for the animals, but like I still don't give a fuck. Like I don't know why.
I get where you're coming from. Like the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, okay,
I just don't get why I don't feel sad for this, like for the animals I'm eating.
Would you feel sad if you killed it yourself?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. So I think that's where it is, right? So do you go fishing?
No, I don't.
Why don't you go fishing?
I want to go fishing, but I doesn't have a fishing rod.
Okay.
Alright, respect.
My argument's gone. Well played.
I mean, I've been fishing once. I've been fishing and I caught a fish. And like I wanted to release the fish and my brother's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like we're gonna eat the fish. Like you spent 3 hours trying to catch the fish yet. And I'm like I didn't wanna like the fish is flapping, bro. It kind of feel bad. It doesn't blink or anything. You're like, oh damn.
Yeah.
But like I've always said, like if it came to like hunting, gathering, like when I have to kill the animal, I probably wouldn't do it just because I mentally don't think I can cover the barrier unless I'm like desperate. But like I'm more than like happy to just be oblivious and ignorant of just like buying food from the Coles and whatever, knowing that it's been like killed and everything. But like me and myself not doing it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's like a big part. Like vegans, like I guess like they're kind of one of the things like I wouldn't do it myself, so like, you know, I don't want to eat the meat. Like, well, most people are just like oblivious or ignorant and like they just don't care.
So let's just say, like, for example, like every meat industry just like closed down, and like if you want to kill a chicken and eat a chicken, you can eat a chicken. Would you like?
Probably not.
The answer's already.
Probably not.
It depends. So like, I feel like for me, right, it comes down to like, again, I think desperation is one thing. So like, if I'm like trying to survive, yes, I think I would.
Yeah.
But that said, like, if it was between going to the shops and buying vegetables or whatever, and going and killing a chicken that's there and then eating it,
because the option is there.
It's because the option is there, right? So in my mind, I'm completely oblivious to the fact that the chicken's being killed. It's gone through all this process and everything.
Yeah.
All I see is chicken.
Yeah.
I like eating chicken, so I'll eat the chicken. It's not like, like in my mind, I don't associate, this is being killed.
Yeah. Well, why? Why doesn't our mind do?
So, and again, that's the thing. I think that's why vegetarians and vegans go and become vegetarian because they process and then they come to the decision like, no, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. For me, I think I've more come to the conclusion that's like and it's very selfish, but I've come to the conclusion that's like I like the taste of it. And I'm okay, like as in. Like for me, also, I'm just like, it's going to be there anyway. Like people are going to kill it anyway. Yeah. So like, why wouldn't I enjoy that taste? And I think they have the arguments against that, but for me, it doesn't go past that personally.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like very interesting.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like I think you made me think about it a bit more as well. But I wouldn't associate with my dogs. That's weird.
No, I mean like, honestly, it's that example.
My dog, bro. I love veganism, man. I love animal vegan.
I love my dog. I'm just to say like, I do love dogs. I mean, I love animals. I like animals. I just use my dogs as an example to prove it.
No, that's fair. But I think, but it's like two different associations there, right? Like you owning a dog and a pet. That's what I'm sort of trying to say. Like. It doesn't necessarily like just because you like.
Let's just get rid of that. That idea. Let's just say like anyone saying that they love animals.
Yeah.
Like you go to like a fucking like what's called the Royal Exhibition Show. No, the Royal Melbourne Show. Yeah.
Showgrounds.
The showgrounds. And you have like the animal farm, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
And like you see the animals that like you eat that are in there, right?
Yeah.
There's like the pigs in there. There's like chickens in there.
Yeah.
The cows in there, and like you've like eaten that animal.
Yeah.
Like not the specific animal.
Yeah.
Like yeah, and then like you still go and like you care for the animal and like you grab it, you play around with it, whatever the hell you do with it.
Yeah.
But then you still go home, or even that day, you go to the van and you order like a HSP or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's fair. I think for me, like it's literally like I'm happy, like I'm okay with eating it. And
I know.
Yeah,
and nothing
I think
wrong with
it's
that.
personal.
Yeah. Like people like do whatever you want, but like for me, it's just like the mentality behind like why aren't we there yet?
Yeah.
Like what is gonna push us to get there? Is my.
And I think it's kind of important. So even though I am someone who eats meat, right, and I don't think I'm going to stop anytime soon, I think it's important because extinction and all these things do exist, right? So to, like at a stage, if we want to have animals alive, it's like we are going to have to care for it to a degree. Eventually. Yeah. Like for me personally right now, I don't care. I don't know. I guess maybe I haven't been given a reason to care, but I think that's with everyone, right? Like,
I mean, there's more to the argument of vegan than just animals. For example, the agriculture industry, like, or everyone knows cows, for example, produce a lot of methane. But like, I don't think veganism should just be let me finish the agriculture thing. Like, I believe it was like 40% or something. Don't quote me on any stats, but like, it plays a very large role for pesticides, carbon dioxide, all that, and towards climate change, which is the main idea of like, and the poultry like meat industry or whatever plays a large role in that, right? So what I was saying is like I don't feel like veganism is just like a very clear cut no meat, no nothing. There's a lot of different meats that play like I guess an easier part on that. Like for example, chicken's like the most energy efficient in terms of like energy to like meat ratio, where cows are like kind of the worst. So like if you think about it, if you're like veganism in the sense like no animals, or veganism like because you're doing for climate cause. If it's a climate cause, and you could like slowly go into alternatives, like not eat beef, eat chicken or like fish, something that's like more energy efficient, you know, rather than just be like no animals at all. And I think that might be like.
So veganism, I think, don't quote it, but I think it's more, isn't it more towards like to stop torturing animals, or like to
it's a bit of both, I feel, because some people use like climate change as like a reasoning for it as well.
I think it's very.
I feel like vegans are the ones that care about both, and vegetarians are the ones that don't care, like are the ones that you're talking about. So vegetarians are like don't kill animals.
Yeah.
And vegans are like...
Yeah, I feel like
a lot of vegetarians are like cultural though.
Vegetarians can't even commit, man. Vegetarians can't commit. Just commit, man. If you're going to be a vegetarian, just commit to
we're going to make that. It's like fish every now and then. He's like, I'm vegetarian, I'm not vegetarian.
They have it on and off.
On one day, vegetarian.
On Monday.
I'll try a palm just for today.
Just for today, you know.
No offense to vegetarians.
Disclaimer.
We're just taking the piss. No, I think vegans are the ones that probably care a little bit more in terms of
the climate. Yeah, I think you're right. There's a bit of a difference.
Yeah, there is. I just don't know the difference. So don't quote anything that we say.
Bring in a vegan specialist.
Plenty.
Great debates.
Many debates over the topic.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening. I think this one's been a little bit more of a different one.
Yes.
Some conspiracies come, some controversy here as well. I would like to say that we actually aren't trying to offend anyone or anything like that. If you are more interested to, you know, talk about something that you care about, feel free to come on and just
or even to like
comment,
educate us.
Educate. Yeah, like we want to be. I want to be educated by all of this stuff, right?
You like educate like what you guys know. Let us know in the comments.
In the comments, message us like literally anything. We're very open.
Like, subscribe, and comment.
It's not yet, Brent. Okay. I'll tell you what.
This is why I used to hate This is why I hate this guy.
Oh man, professionalism is out of the door. We're not trying to offend anyone. But thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you found it a little bit different, a little bit more interesting as well in some ways. Both of their links will be in the description. They're not that entertaining on Instagram, but give them a follow anyway. Everything of mine will be down in the description as well.
Like, subscribe, comment, and turn notifications on.
Press that bell button. And yeah, thank you so much for listening, and look forward to the next episode.
Put Shanaka's details because
Shanaka's
living with purpose 17.
Let's go.
Peace out.
See ya.